Today, I'm going to give y'all my tips from tour as a professional actor who's on the national tour of Mean Girls the Musical.
Come on.
Hey y'all, it is me, Tay Marquise. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you for being a friend. So I did a Q&A on my Instagram story, and thank you to everyone who responded. I think it's really important to share the wisdom and the knowledge that you have with people, because sometimes people go in this industry and just in careers in general with lack of knowledge, and they have a lot of assumptions / stereotypes / preconceived notions and connotations based on opinions that other people have who may not even have the experience in the field. So I think it is my job to share my wisdom and inform you based on the things I've experienced actively working on the tour. Before we start, I want to give you all some context / some information about who I am, what I do. My name, obviously, is Tay Marquise. I went to school from 2019 to 2023 for college. I got a BFA in musical theater, and I'm from Sarasota, Florida. I've been doing theater basically all my life, educationally, not as long professionally, or like in the community theater scene. I've done 3 shows in community theater, like 2017, 2018, and I think 2022 or 2021. I have been dancing all my life, not necessarily training my whole life, but I've always been good at dance. It's always been like one of my niches. So I've always danced, and I booked Mean Girls about, when did I graduate? May? Wow, I booked Mean Girls about a year exactly after I graduated. Interesting, I just realized that today. Let's get started. I opened the Q&A up to theater questions, career questions. So this might be a little mixture of everything, but it's definitely theater focused and focused on sharing the knowledge that I have from my theater experience. So the first question was, how does being on a non-union tour affect you as an actor? Because I have never been on a union tour, but I have worked union jobs, I will say the main difference between union and non-union is the union. Non-union jobs typically pay less than union jobs. Non-union jobs typically have less coverage for certain things. Like there's a certain amount of hours they can work before they have to take a break. Equity contracts typically have bigger budgets. Typically, not always, because I've worked equity contracts that didn't pay as much as this job pays as a non-equity job. But yeah, I feel like I don't really have much equity experience to gauge the difference, because when I was doing equity shows, it was like regional and they would house us, and the main difference that I feel immediately was being paid more. I don't really know how a national tour that's equity works or what the big differences are, because I haven't booked one yet. So that's the extent of my knowledge for that question. The next question was, what's an open call secret that young actors might need to know? And I don't really know many secrets for open calls, but I will say one of the strategies, especially when going to ECCs or equity chorus calls, is making friends and or connections with other actors who go to these auditions, so that if you can't make it to an audition right on time, or if you can't be there super duper early to sign up, that you find a buddy who is willing to sign you up and who you know goes early. Or y'all can alternate and find a buddy system. I think that's a very important strategy to have, especially in the climate that is equity calls, because it gets really tough. People get really crazy, not crazy literally, but people get really crazy and hungry for the audition. So it's good to have a squad, some friends, so that you can stay connected, stay in the know. A friend might see an audition that you don't necessarily see, and vice versa. So the more people you're connected to, the more likely you are to succeed in this business. The next question was, how did you push through audition season? I feel like for me, and for other actors that might agree with this, our whole life is audition season. I know that during audition season, the amount of auditions that occur in close proximity might be more, but like I said, I feel like our whole career is auditioning. It's always the season to audition. So for me, I just make sure I'm as prepared as I can, and make sure I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and make sure I'm signing up to audition for things that I know I will enjoy. If it's something new that I'm not that informed about, I'll try to read up on it as much as I can. But if not, I'll just audition and see what happens. I'm just going into it all with an open mind and an open heart, and making sure I'm finding the fun in it, and not letting myself get desperate or getting to a place where I'm getting tired of the work that I'm doing. The next question was, how many jobs did it take for you to get the job that you finally have? For this show specifically, well, I submitted for it when they had open auditions back in like 2022, 2023, I think, before I graduated. And I didn't book it until I got an agent, which is not to say that you need an agent, but I think from that agent appointment, they actually saw me in person and got to see my tapes, and it got sent directly to them. But I auditioned twice, confirmed that they saw it with my agent, and the other times I don't really know. But in general, the amount of auditions that I've done, because I have auditioned for stuff and booked stuff. I have done work before this show, equity job, summer stock. I've auditioned for at least 100 things, or 100 times. I don't know if that feels like a small number or a large number. It feels small because I feel like I've auditioned so frequently at certain points, but at least 100. But it's definitely more than that. I just know for sure at least 100 auditions, some of them for the same shows over and over again, whether it's on Broadway or tour. Yeah. The next question is, how do you find the motivation to perform on 2-show days? The only motivation I need to drive me through a 2-show day is the desire to be on the stage, to be making art, to be sharing the energy that I exude with the audience. I love performing. I love being on stage. It's one of my favorite things ever. So it's funny that I got this question because I thought I was going to be a 2-show warrior. I thought 2 shows was going to be my bread and butter. I thought I was going to be killing it. But it is tiring for some reason. And I think one of the most important things that I learned to do was to take a nap in between shows if possible, because that little 1 hour, maybe even 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours of energy that you get from taking that nap makes a whole lot of a difference than just doing one show, maybe going to eat and going straight to the next show. And sometimes, because people are in and out, sometimes people call out, sometimes they come back for the night show. We have to be back early because we have to do fight and lift call and run through safety things with the show. I think I want to be on the stage more than I don't. So I think that gets me through. The next question is, do you prefer touring or staying in one place when it comes to performing? I feel like I love to tour because I love to meet new people all around the world. I love new culture. I love new language. I love new food. Emphasis on the food. I think it depends on the job as well. I feel like there's certain shows that I would do tour or Broadway with. There's certain shows that I would just prefer to be stagnant on Broadway with. So I think it just depends. I'm more of a person who likes to hustle and bustle and to be on the move. I hate travel days, so maybe I do want to be on Broadway. Not maybe. I do want to be on Broadway, but I'm trying to determine if I prefer that. I think I just like a combination of both. Sometimes I like to travel, sometimes I like to be still. But I think as far as my spirit goes, I like to be on the go. So if I could just make the Broadway check and be on the go, I think I'll be fine. The next question is, how does housing work on tour? So basically, well in advance, before we get to a new city, before we get to a new stop, a new theater, company management sends out emails with regards to housing, where you can fill out if you want to be in the company housing, how many beds you want, and then they confirm it in the system, and you're good to go. If you don't want to be in company housing, you opt out. You just say, no, I don't want to be booked with the company hotel. And then you're in charge of finding your own Airbnb and sometimes your own transportation, depending on how close we are to the venue or how close the place that you choose outside of the hotel is to the venue. It's a very simple process as far as housing goes. There's options. You can room by yourself, which amen, because I know it was not always like that historically. 2, you can room with somebody that you know and save a few dollars. You'll get paid a little bit more on your paycheck, and then you can opt out. The next question / inquiry was how to deal with post-show depression. I feel like because theater is so interconnected, as far as high school goes and middle school, I know that some of those people you may not see again or may not see as often once you go further in life, whether you go further in your theater career or you just go further in life, period. That's a little different, and I'm not sure how to deal with that. I feel like in the moment, we probably all just cried or whatever, and then we were hanging out again after that because a new show comes around, But there are certain shows that we love dearly and certain experiences that change our lives forever. And I feel like, personally, I don't get depressed after closing a show. I do hate to let certain shows go, but I feel like I'm always excited for the next thing. So I don't really harp too much on what has been. And I also try to stay present. I think staying present and honoring the moment does help with the aftermath once the show closes, but that could just be me. I just think stay connected with those people if you can, and just take your time. You're not required to get over a show as soon as the show's over. It's fine to reminisce. I definitely reminisce on a lot of shows that I've done in the past, especially like Once on This Island. I love Pippin. I love Legally Blonde. I did that at Kansas City Starlight, and I think about that all the time. But yeah, I think I'm more happy that it happened versus like sad that it's over. Someone asked, can you share any funny backstage moments? Backstage. So, if you watch the vlogs from all the other cities I had, it's called Tay on Tour, but they're not always labeled as that. In different cities, I record all the backstage stuff. Not all the backstage stuff, but all the backstage stuff, especially what goes on in the girls' dressing room. And it's very funny. And I just think there isn't like a specific moment backstage that I can recall from the top of my head, but it's always a time. It's always a time. So just watch those vlogs and you'll see there's so much footage and it's so funny. The next question was, how does the audience's reaction affect your performance? I feel like, and I'm sure my cast will agree, when there's a live audience and they are lit and they are excited and they are making noise and they are cheering and they are reacting and they are clapping, it makes us want to give an even stronger show. I always pride myself on giving a strong show, and it'll be a good show whether you come when there's not a big audience or whether you come when there's a teeny tiny 5 people in the audience. It's going to be a good show, but I do think when you're doing things and you're going all out and there's no praise or no cheer, no acknowledgement or anything, it's just crickets, that's kind of weird. It feels like a rehearsal. And I think the show will just be good. But if the audience gives us all the energy that we want and all the energy that we need, we're going to want to give them more. That's like the human exchange. You give and you get. You give and you get. So I think it makes for a great show when we have a great audience. That's all you got to do is just, hey, yo, The next question is, what do you think makes Mean Girls resonate with a lot of people? I will say because a lot of people go through the school experience. Mean Girls is set in high school, but it's school. It's like public school, period. It doesn't matter if you're in high school, middle school, maybe less elementary school, but there are a lot of themes in life that human beings share no matter what age. So I think that plays a big role in it. And it doesn't have to be in school. It can be in the workforce. It can be in theater. It can be anywhere, that these themes are like universal experiences. So like, let me try to think of an example. Upholding this facade, this image that you have all these things, or you have such a great life, you have all these friends. We all want to have friends at every point in our life, whether you're a toddler, whether you're in elementary school, middle school. So I think that's what makes it the most relatable, is that the things we talk about, the subjects, are not just specific to the Mean Girls plot and circumstance. It can be applied everywhere. The next question is, a track that you wish you could do. I think I enjoy my track a lot. And if I had to choose any other tracks to do, I don't think I want to do any other tracks. I do understudy Damien, which is fun every once in a while, and then Duval as well, which is also fun and funny. But I think I love my track. Often I feel like when we do shows, there's a role that we prefer to do. But in this show, because it's all female leads, I don't think there's really anything that I want to do in this show. I'm pretty happy with my role. The next question is, what is your favorite thing about acting in theater? I think acting is fun because you get to escape the demands of what it means to be yourself. Sometimes it's more demanding for certain people. Sometimes it's less demanding. Everybody's still figuring it out all the time. No matter how old you are, you're always figuring yourself out. You're learning new things about yourself. You're exploring new things, you're figuring things out, you're trying out new things. So I think being in a role that sort of has this foundation already laid out allows you to continue exploring, continue finding new things, experimenting, but it's already written out. Like, you have it. You have the text, you have the research that you've done, you have the homework that you've done on it, you have the thought process, the breakdown, you have all of that already set for you. So your job is to keep it fresh and convey an authentic version of the character for the audience. And when it comes to acting, the ability / requirement to be able to play many different types of people and many different types of things in life, I think that's really cool because it's a way for us to express our interpretation of life, the life that we've experienced, the things that we've seen, the things that we've heard, the things that we've done, the things that people have done to us. I think it's like a cool recollection of experiences and life tools that you've gathered from when you were born and so now. Ooh, that was philosophical. Oh my God, wait, somebody asked, how many songs do you have written? Okay, so I'm gonna just give you the number of songs that I have labeled numerically, because I have songs that don't have a number. I'm gonna say how many I have at least. And I'm gonna add like 10. Dang, I stopped labeling. Okay, at least 64. So I'm gonna say like 74, 84, but even more than that. Some of them I have in my notes, some of them I have in my voice memos. So yeah, some of them are unfinished. Some of them are just a chorus. Some of them are just a verse. Some of them are just a single line. I feel like none of them are just a single line. But yeah, at least 74, 84 songs. The next question was, how would you describe your aesthetic, your fashion journey? What are some of your inspirations? As far as fashion goes, I love a timeless look. And I feel like I'm not inspired by one person. There isn't one person that comes to mind that inspires me fashion-wise. But I do. Alton Mason is a model. I like his career trajectory, and I like some of the things he's worn, and I like the sleekness of it all, the cleanliness, what's the word? I love something that's like classy but stylish. So I always wear a tie with stuff. Like, I'll wear a tie with a jersey, I'll wear a tie with a sweater or a cardigan or a sweater vest. That's more my style, with like some loafers. That's like I think that's my style, like classy schoolboy. That's what I lean towards, but I like the baggy look with the jeans and the chains and the boots, the Timberlands, Doc Martens, any type of platform shoe, the streetwear of it all. Yeah, I think I like a little bit of everything. I used to be more into suits and ties and stuff when I was younger, and I'm still into that, but I like to incorporate that into a few of the things I like. I like to incorporate everything versus just doing one specific look because I feel like that's more simple. I like to put stuff together, so I'll buy pieces that I know I'm gonna wear and like in the future, and then stuff will come to me along the way. So I pull from everything I see. If I see something on the street, I'll be like, okay, that's cool. And then if I see something in a store, I'm like, wait, I like this. But now that I think about it, inspirations, I do love the Jackson 5 fashion of it all when they were a group and the outfits that they would wear. I haven't really worn anything like it yet, but I'm definitely keeping it in the back of my mind. I love some of the stuff that Bruno Mars wears. And that's all I have for now. More to come. The last and final question of this Q&A was advice for life after high school. They said they're graduating in May. Take it easy, take your time, be willing to learn, be willing to grow, and be willing to surrender to the process of it all. Everything will not be perfect as soon as you graduate. Everything might not be perfect a year after you graduate. So long as you're doing something that is conducive to the betterment of your life, whether you're working a job, make sure it's a job that you at least feel a little bit comfortable in and can enjoy somewhat, and it's not just a job just to have a job. If you have to make ends meet and you have to get a job, get the job. Don't let yourself get too down. But trust your process. Trust that there's always light at the end of the tunnel and that the life you want is out there for you. You've already imagined it. You've already seen what it could be possibly. You already have a sense, an inkling of what you want it to be. So you have time. High school is not even the beginning of your life, to be honest. Graduating high school is not the beginning of your life. Going to college is not the beginning of your life. I feel like the beginning, your life never really just begins. You have different chapters, you have different seasons of your life. Some seasons will be greater than others. When I graduated college, I worked 3 jobs immediately after college. I booked them on my own, and then I didn't work for almost a year. The beginning of something is just when it begins, and give yourself that grace, knowing that good things are always around the corner. And thank you for your questions. Comment any more below if you have them. Maybe we'll do a part 2. Stay blessed, forget the stress, and let God handle the rest. As always, thank you for watching. Come again. Bye.